Welcome to Innovator Baat, and this is the show where I bring to you entrepreneurs and startups who are working at Incubator ITK and turning their ideas into product, helping in Make in India movement. In this series today, I have for the first time in the show, I have with me a student entrepreneur, Mr. Balaji Sriram, who is a PhD student at electrical engineering and also co-founder of Simactricals Technology, a startup working in electronics domain, and we'll be talking about his journey. How did he come up with this idea, and what were his challenges for you guys to learn from? And welcome to the show, Balaji. And let's quickly start with a short introduction of what is the USP of your product and what you guys are making that has created so much of buzz around the electronics domain.
Namaste, Jai Hind, and thank you for the wonderful introduction. So, for wooing girls, we say pickup lines, and for wooing investors, our pickup line is what Wi-Fi did to internet is what we are doing for e-mobility. So,
Okay.
we're making electric vehicle wireless chargers, and traditionally the chargers that you use for electric vehicles are wired ones, where a human intervention is required. A human is required to take the plug and plug it into the vehicle for it to charge, and it takes quite a bit of time. Even in fact, I own an electric vehicle. I own a Ather. It's back at home in Chennai. So it takes about 4.5-5 hours to charge, and it's quite irritating. And so I had to do something to solve the problem, being in electrical engineering. So we came up with the wireless charging solution. More about it, in the conversation, along the conversation. And what this does is, it has a transmitter and receiver attached to your vehicle. All you have to do is park your vehicle on top of our transmitter, and it will automatically charge. And the user will get all the notifications on its phone when it's charging, how fast it's charging, and he gets everything in its palm. So that's why it's creating a lot of buzz, because again, what Wi-Fi did to the internet is what we're doing for electric vehicles. We charge your vehicles wirelessly.
A very cool application of it, I can imagine. While you were, telling about your product was that I'm using a mall and you have installed it in the basement parking area, and while my partner is shopping or doing something,
While
I'm
you're
getting
watching a movie, we'll charge your vehicle. That's
yeah, and I'm getting that notification that this is charged and you can take your vehicle. Right, really nice, really cool idea, Balaji. But are there any safety concerns when we talk about wireless transmission of things? Will our vehicle be safe in that case?
Oh, that's a wonderful question. I think many of the viewers have the same question. So we do adhere to certain safety protocols. I won't get into the technicalities because this is just a casual session. This is not a completely technical session. But we do adhere to IEC 61980 for electric vehicles, SAG 2954. That's also the wireless charging for electric vehicles, and other safety standards for ISO standards and so on and so forth. So, for example, let's say you're operating an induction cooker at your home, and you cook, it boils your food and so on. What the wireless technology that we use to charge vehicle uses similar technology, similar on the same. So it also generates a magnetic field which is linked with the receiver, and therefore it charges the battery. So certainly the magnetic field is something that you can't see. Therefore, the first fear of, oh, will this do something to me, is already gone. Because when something you don't see through your eyes, it's not as scary as people say. So the first fear is gone, and second is, of course, we adhere to the safety protocols. And what we do is, the transmitter, it automatically detects the presence of humans or animals in the vicinity, and it's called foreign object detection. We've employed it. And then when a person or an animal, they come in the vicinity of the transmission, it safely shuts down the charging, and when there is clearance, it restarts again. And the interesting part is that even if a human or an animal stays in the vicinity, it would not harm them. We just do it for the safety protocol.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's like a dream of Tesla. You are like
Yeah, actually Tesla wanted to do this. He wanted to power all the houses wirelessly through his wireless transmission tower.
So,
But that was,
how did this idea come to you? I wanted to understand, and how did you build it through? What was your family's reaction and those stuff?
Yeah, so let's
how
talk
your
about
journey starts.
Yeah, so let's talk about my personal journey and how it led to this the creation of our product. So the thing is, I was a student at masters. I was doing masters at Anna University, Chennai. A wonderful college in South India. A must visit for the viewers. So I did it in a very niche domain called high voltage engineering. And let's say you have 10,000 electrical engineers coming out. Only 3 people or 4 people out of those 10,000 people would get into high voltage engineering. It's that niche. But the applications span a huge variety. And very interestingly, during my masters, I learnt about electromagnetic fields and its applications as a part of my curriculum. And I encountered this wireless charging technology which blew my mind. It was too good to be true. Of course, I knew it existed, but now that I know the physics behind it and also that how the technology works, what people do to achieve magnetic resonance, power transfer, so on, it was just too good for a 22-year-old who was completely hooked to it. So great. So I started studying about it, and being a researcher, student and a researcher, we get to explore a lot of domains. So I explored basic electronics, high voltage, even some mechanical stuff, because I'm interested. I was a very curious kid. So 23-year-old Balaji used to do all this exploring. I used to research a lot, not necessarily to technical papers, to YouTube videos, through articles online that I found interesting. And then I found out the working of the technology, and I always had it in my heart, I should try it someday. Because the reason why I got into high voltage engineering is because I was fascinated with arcs. High voltage creates sparks, arcs flying around. As a kid, I used to be very fascinated. That's why I got into high voltage. And then when I saw wireless charging, I seen energy can be transmitted wirelessly, and you don't really need a cable to charge. That was just crazy. So when I researched about it, I realized that my skill set was sufficient to implement a wireless charger. The skill set that I learned in masters at Anna University was more than sufficient to implement a prototype of a wireless charger. So I had it in my heart that someday I will do it, but I didn't know when. And I joined PhD in the year 2020 January in IIT Kanpur in high voltage. I was working with dielectric nanomaterials, actually nothing to do with wireless charging at all. And so there was this close friend of mine, Ayush Trivedi, and so he had his mama ka beta, Mihir Mishra. So, and I applied for a smart grid incubation innovation challenge.
Yeah, that time.
Yeah. So that time it was there, and it was floated. It was an all India contest, and I was the only person who got selected. And that time Ayush told, hey, my mama ka beta is also very interested in this starting a company. Why don't you guys meet together? So when I met Mihir online, of course, back then COVID was running, so no personal meetings. So when I met Mihir, something clicked. What I didn't have, he had. I knew how wireless charging technology worked. I knew all the technical aspects. He knew the business aspects, and he wanted to become an entrepreneur himself. So I am blessed to have such a wonderful partner, Mihir Mishra. So he's handling business right now, I'm handling technology. So I'm the CTO, he's the CEO. So perfect use of each of our skills. So we say when starting a company, you need people with complementary skill set. So magically everything came into place at that moment, just like solving a jigsaw puzzle. And then I met Mihir, and then we got this innovation challenge, and that is the time that I really understood what SISC was capable of. I knew SISC existed because I was part of IIT Kanpur as a student, but I didn't know its capabilities or what they are willing to do for new entrepreneurs, especially student entrepreneurs. And I got assigned a mentor, Ankush sir, who's still our mentor, who was the previous in charge of SIS.
Yeah.
So
he works in the smart grid system.
Yes, he works in the smart grid and integration of renewables, very close to our domain. So he was super interested in us, and he was the person who actually pushed me to go into the startup. I was really reluctant because as a PhD student, we already have a lot on our plate. So the thing is, we have courseworks, we have to do research, we have to report to our guides. I have a wonderful guide, her name is Professor Nandini Gupta, and at this point I thank her also because she actually let me work on my startup when I was doing my PhD. This is something that almost, very few professors allow, or most of the professors do not allow. They look down upon it because they want. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
They perceive that when a student comes to their lab, they're supposed to work on the research. So focus is important on PhD.
Yeah.
That's their point. It's not wrong. It's absolutely right from their point of view. But what I realized was most of the PhD students, despite being one of the prestigious institutes, they don't get results immediately. That's obvious. That's the nature of a PhD. So you have to work for 5 years to get good results. 5 years is a very long time, and most of their time is spent on, let's say, not doing things that are aligning with the research or not exactly productive, not exactly contributing to the research. So most of the time I analyzed, looking at my seniors, that most of the time they're just reading, experimenting when things are not working. So that is the time when I remember what my parents said. When things don't work, take a break and revisit. And I realized that, okay, maybe if they had just taken a break, do some other thing, maybe play a sport, just go to a movie or do something else and get back, maybe you can do better. And what if the time you play a sport, or that can be utilized to the advantage of commercialization of technology. As I told you before, my PhD domain is different and the wireless charging technology is different, and I always wanted to get into it. So when I got this opportunity, I immediately said yes, because I knew PhD students will have the time to spare, despite working on a lot of research projects. They will have the time to spare to work on commercialization of their technologies. I knew it. So that is the time I said yes to Ankush sir, and he was very proud of me, and even my guide is proud of me. My PhD guide is very proud of me. She lets me work in my startup, and she really appreciates me for that.
What was your family's reaction?
So 1 year when I got into PhD, that is when I got into this Smart Grid Innovation Challenge. And when we got selected at March, so I immediately called my mom and dad. So most mom and dad would be very happy. My mom and dad were very scared. So they, because I come from a middle class family and I'm the first generation entrepreneur. I didn't have entrepreneurial experience before. So my first reaction of my parents is, how will you manage PhD? It's a very difficult thing. You went there for a PhD, so you should focus on that. Nah, beta. Why are you doing something different? This is scaring me. And it involves a lot of money also. What if you lose money? You will be answerable to a lot of people. So that is something that scares a middle class person, because in our life we haven't seen huge amount of money. We haven't gone into business. It scares us. But again, for every good thing, there requires a good start. So luckily I got the good start with SISC, IIT Kanpur and good mentorship. And somehow I convinced my parents that this will indeed turn out to be a very fruitful future for me. And finally, they put their trust on me. They're very smart people. They're very well educated. But it took time to put their trust on me, and they said, yes, we support you. And ever since then, I've taken that support, I've taken their guidance to my heart. I wanted to work all through very sincerely, parallelly with my PhD, and be able to develop this product.
What is
So-
the stage of the product of your startup right now and your PhD, both if we talk about?
So both are in good stages, and this is the perfect time to interview for me. So I'm about to finish my PhD. Only a couple of months I'll be done. And the startup is also in pre-production stage. So everything is just, the good part is just about to come in a couple of months. And pre-production, once production happens, sales will immediately take off. And we have a huge purchase orders, not just from India, from all throughout the globe. I mean, the demand for electric vehicles is so high that people want a solution for charging. If you look at the charging scenario in Delhi, around only 3 chargers per 10 chargers are actually working. 10 chargers installed, 7 chargers are not working. What will people do? Right? So that is also a hassle for people to adopt to EV technology, because they are scared. Oh, when I go to a charging station, it's not working. What do I do? And the main reason for it not working is not just because the technology is bad or something. Nothing of that sort. It's because civic sense of people. Not all people, but certain people, they tend to vandalize it. They misuse it. They don't know how to plug it properly. I mean, we come from India, where right now it's a very developing country, and we're not developed. People are not aware, so they tend to damage the charging ports, and naturally it takes time for people to adapt. So within the period of adoption, if all the negative things happen, they will only feel hampered. So we came up with this wireless charging technology where people don't even have to touch the charger, just park it. इतना तो कर सकते हो, एक साधारण आदमी कर सकता है. उसको कुछ नहीं पता, केबल पता नहीं है, उसका वो गन पता नहीं है, कहाँ से प्लग इन करना पड़ता है वो पता नहीं है. So this is very funny incident happened a couple of days ago. So I gave my electric scooty to my friend, and he was riding it, charge went low, and he wanted to charge the vehicle. So instead of so you have to open the back seat to be able to take out the battery to charge. So so he was searching for the port to open the scooter. So he accidentally plugged it into the charging port, and the key got melted. Luckily, nothing happened to the battery of the scooter. So that's how wired charging systems are. Not all. I mean, there are certainly good companies like
surely if there's a human interaction,
yes,
it may
so
create lot of error.
And he's a PhD student at IIT Kanpur.
Oh.
In electrical engineering department. That's the funny part. So it's not to say that he doesn't know this. People are not aware. People haven't used it, so it will take the time for them to adapt. But what we do is we give them the leverage to make mistakes, but does not hamper themselves, does not harm them or the vehicle or people surrounding them. So that is the leverage that we give to people for the same cost. That is, people don't have to spend more because it's a wireless charger. So
what is that one suggestion you would want to give 5-year younger self of yours?
5-year younger self.
Yeah, before you started, like 2020s.
5-year younger self. 5-year younger self was very smart. He knew just PhD wasn't sufficient. So I would ask him to stay persistent, to be confident as I already am. And I lost my father 2.5 years ago. Maybe I would have won my younger self. And I also had certain health issues, and Mihir had certain problems in his household. So these are personal things, not exactly company. Company-wise, things are going quite well, and I would have. So there's actually one thing: take investments carefully and from the right people. This is very important, especially in startups. Luckily, SIC backed us, but there were some certain situations where things could have been very bad for us if we had not acted promptly. especially in terms of investments, who we're getting the investment from, what clauses we're signing. So all these are very crucial for a startup. Luckily, despite having faced some problems, we did have some problems, I won't lie. We did overcome all that. Now we are at a much better situation than we were before. So I would have want my younger self uh, again against all these investment related things. And I am a technical person. I don't know much about business until I got in here. So I would have asked him to also read business parallelly. Of course, it would be more additional load apart from running a technical company, again running the technology of the company, doing a PhD, again studying one more business. But I think Balaji, younger self, still had the time to maybe have studied business, because despite doing PhD, despite doing startup, despite developing the technology, I still used to play basketball, badminton, go for cycling, and enjoy my personal life. So I could have reduced that slightly and learnt more about business. So this is especially for student entrepreneurs at IIT Kanpur who have very little knowledge about business, to be able to explore business. Just the basics you need to understand, just how a company runs, how a company functions, organizational structure, sales and marketing, basics you can study, and a bit about company law, company finance, just a very little bit, so that you are at least accustomed to the startup culture. So if some other founder speaks a jargon with you, or an investor speaks a jargon with you, you understand and reciprocate or speak in the same language. So that attracts them. So you need to, be very sharp with investors, speak their language to be able to convince them, hey, I am the right person, you need to put my money into my pockets. So speaking the right language, getting into the same vibe really helps you, get the money.
Well, I mean, you have been handling a lot of things parallelly for past 5 years, if we see. How do you manage your stress? How are those days of? Were there days of lows where you had second thoughts, or how you have dealt with those thoughts in your mind?
Okay, so this is important part of my company. This happened again 2.5 years ago. My dad has just passed away, and my personal life went to hell. My mom's all alone at Chennai. Mihir also had certain problems at home. So there came a point when I knew that I was capable to make this product, but personal life and others' PhD stresses was too overwhelming for me to think that this could even work. At March of 2023, I was almost sure that my startup is going to fail. That's how bad the situation was. And I'm sure every entrepreneur, every startup person would have faced this challenge, not to the extent I faced, or even more, I don't know. So they would have certainly faced certain challenges along their way, maybe monetary, maybe personal life, maybe health problems. But it is important to keep moving forward despite all that. So despite me thinking it was going to fail, so I had a few employees who were very nice people, very dedicated, absolutely smart. So we have in our company, they're all IITians and NITians, very smart people, very dedicated. So there is this very close friend of mine called Hari Vinay. He is our chief operating officer as well as mechanical engineer of our company. He's very personal to me. So he also had very bad things going on in his life, and then he shattered all that. He is also from a middle class family, so he broke all that. I took him as an inspiration. He said, I've gone through all this, I came out of this, even you can. And at the right moment, we need the right kind of friends, right kind of support system, and I'm very blessed to have such a support system, including good mentors at SAC. So mentors at SAC told, no, you're not going to fail. You think you're going to fail, but you're not. You're doing great compared to other people. When other people are low, they shut down the company. You have it running, just sustain it. And that's when magic happened. we got our first investor. An investor thought we are worthy of putting good amount of money. So that is the important thing. So in Finding Nemo, so there is a Dory, wanted to go find Nemo, and then she'll say, just keep swimming, keep swimming, and then she wants to go in a certain direction. She only focuses on the goal and doesn't focus on anything else. So that just came. It's a nice scene, very nice scene, but has a very deep meaning. It's a children's movie, but has a very deep meaning. So when you have a lot of things going around you and things are too overwhelming, all you have to do is just keep swimming. Just stay persistent. Put your focus. Just know that. Just push a little bit, things will work out, and that's how it worked out for me. And from then on, things were upslope. Every good thing happened after that. My health became fine, my mom became better, company was running fine, we got our first investor, our team size became from 3 to 10. I would have never thought that such a quick drastic change would happen if I had stayed persistent just for one more month. I didn't know that, but things happen. Miracles do happen, and it's only up to you to stay persistent.
Thank you so much, Balaji. It was such a nice chit chat with you, and me personally, I learned a lot. It was a really nice of you to give us time and share your views. One last word of motivation for our entrepreneurs or budding entrepreneurs, or even students who are watching you right now, who want to start their startup, have some ideas. What would be the pathway or framework kind of word if you can share with them?
So, entrepreneurial space is becoming very popular. I took up entrepreneurship when I was 26 years old, but I could have done it much sooner. So right now, BTech students are getting into startups, they're making products. So I want all the young people to get into this startup culture, learn the startup culture, make new technologies, because we're still a developing country. We need to think about our country, right? And instead of just studying in IIT or studying in a good college, going abroad and asking somebody else for a payslip, be here, develop India, develop our Bharat, be patriotic. I was always patriotic. I always wanted to do things for my country. Although I excelled in my masters and studies, I didn't have the idea to go abroad because I want to be in India, stay with my parents, do good to my country, and develop the technologies. At least not all, some technologies I thought I can contribute to being a good student, and magically it happened. So it gives you a lot of money, it gives you a lot of exposure, rather than, so instead of thinking of a high paying job, please think, instead of thinking of a data science job, getting into computer science like 1,000 other people are, millions of other people are, just do something different in your own core field. Maybe you will find so much prosperity that you would have never dreamt of. So please get into core streams. Core streams are important. They run the world. Computer science is important, but core streams are equally important. They run the world. You have to head them for you to run the world. So you need to run the world. You need to be the next generation of the people who run the world, and you need to be proud of it being in Bharat. You need to be proud, be a proud Indian, be a proud student, do things for our country, be dedicated, stay grounded, love the work you do, be passionate about what you do, be curious, ask a lot of questions. If you don't know, don't shy away. And one last final point is what I say to everybody in the end of a speech that I give is, there is a mountain of gold which exists, and you need to be the person who acknowledges that it exists. What is the mountain of gold? So mountain of gold is you becoming a superstar, and you should know that you can become a superstar. So you believe that you can become a superstar, only then you will take steps. Don't think that uska bahut paisa hai, wo kar diya, main nahi kar paunga. Don't think that you won't be able to do it, because you have all the capabilities, being associated with IIT or good colleges, you have all the support systems. Anybody now can create a startup. Atmanirbhar Bharat, FAME program, production linked incentive. The government is pushing towards startup and manufacturing oriented business sectors. This is the right time to take up entrepreneurship in your hands and do good things for our country, and especially for yourself. You have to be selfish. First do good things for yourself, then do good things for the country. So this is my
Thank you so much.
I won't say advice, just what I
it was
feel.
nice. It was actually a nice word, and you're a really good speaker. I'll say. Thank you guys for watching us, and it was a good time, nice time having Balaji here with us in the show, and we'll be back in our next month's edition.